Oh my goodness. What is happening, everybody?
Happy Sunday, everyone. Thanks for joining us. Someone had made a comment on our channel this week that Katie has beautiful eyes, which, you know, I might be partial. I think she does have beautiful eyes, but now you can't even, now she just looks like a psychopath. That's great. But I was going to say, you can't even see your eyes today because you've got your glasses on, so they reflect.
Yeah, sorry about it. I thought I had another pair of contacts, but apparently I don't, so I need to order some more contacts. What's happening, everybody? Welcome to our Sunday show. I feel like I was just about ready to go take a shower, and Vicky was like, I'm hungry, and we hadn't had any lunch or anything like that. So in record time, I took a shower. I drove to Jersey Mike's. We got a sandwich to share. I get there. There's literally like this people getting a 50 sandwich order or something like that. I was like, seriously? Seriously?
We made bad decisions.
I come back. Somehow Grizz has figured. So Grizz we've had down in the little penned-in area downstairs too, because she fell again when we were in Phoenix. She's okay, but we're just like trying to be extra careful with her. And Vicky was like, "Oh, you should have her in your office today." And I'm like, "Okay," so I have her in there. Well, I came in there and she had somehow gotten up onto my chair. I didn't push it in far enough. Gotten up on my chair and was fully on my desk, just sniffing around, looking to see what she might be able to get there.
She's such a bad girl.
She probably got there was a treat there, so she probably, because I was giving her little pieces of it. Man,
That's
that
what you
dog. I know. She's not supposed to be jumping up on stuff. She jumped on the chair, then onto the table, and I'm like, okay, and how are you planning on getting down?
She wasn't.
She's ridiculous.
And she didn't make any noise while you were gone, so I didn't hear anything, or I would have gone in there. But because if
Yeah.
you go in and you like say hello to the dog, and then you walk out of the room and she's trapped in that
that's
room,
a bad mistake.
bad mistake because she will whine the whole time. So
I actually feel like she does better downstairs. She's more whiny being in the office with me than she is when she's downstairs. But she's with the other dogs. There's just like a gate thing around
she's
her.
in
So
a playpen. She's in
Yeah.
like basically a gated playpen, so she can't jump on the furniture and they can't jump on her, and that's
Yeah.
and by they I mean the puppy because she's kind of the jerk one.
Well, she wants to play. And even today, like, I brought Grizz in from going to the bathroom and put her down by the water, and immediately they both were doing the... And I was like, oh my god, like, it's... Because Grizz just wants to play so bad.
I know.
She's like, maybe I do like that puppy.
I know. I feel bad.
Yeah, but she's on, like, glucosamine and stuff and heart meds, so I'm hoping that... I know that sometimes it takes a while for all that stuff to kind of, like, really kick in, because glucosamine, it helps to rebuild... was it cartilage?
Cartilage. Mm-hmm.
And stuff, and it doesn't happen overnight, so it's like sometimes it can take like a month or so. So we're just trying to like keep her from getting injured, and I'm gonna get her some fish oil.
Ugh. Okay, let's move on. Not everybody cares about the intricacies of all the dogs.
Some people do. Okay, tell us. Listen, tell me in the chat. Tell me if you're watching this after the fact. I know people love to share their stories with their own dogs. Tell me what kind of supplements you give your dogs, because it's hard to research that stuff online because a lot of times it's like paid. Like if you go to Amazon,
everything's a paid review on every page. It's ridiculous.
I hate it. So it's like I never feel like anything is an honest review. So I need to hear from real people. Anyway, so this is our Sunday.
Julie says she's a dog person here.
Yeah, exactly. That's right.
We're all dog people, right? Anyway, so this is our Sunday show, as you were saying.
So our Sunday show, we break it into 3 parts. The first part, we look at our real numbers for the week, the gross sales across all of our platforms. I'm on 6. I think you're on 4 now. You need to step it up.
I literally said at the end of last year, about this time last year, I was going to add Grailed, and I still have not added Grailed.
I mean, I don't know that would really help you at all, but I mean, please, somebody out there tell me, are you doing very well with Grailed, with women, mainly women's clothing? Anyway, in the middle part of the show, we look at our sales highlights for the last week, and the last part of the show, we talk about our goals, the ones we set last week, if we were able to meet them, which I'm going to tell you now. My answer is no. And then we set our goals for the next week and talk about that, but it's tough. It's been getting tough, man.
So we've got a question in the chat
Yes.
before we get started. AZ Cats Sue asked, was eBay Open worth the drive? So I'm going to say no. And here's my reasoning for this. So we're really busy right now. We're 2 weeks out from the Reseller Remix, as most of you guys know. And there's an awful lot that goes in with that and the planning, of course. Teresa and Katie and myself, we're all kind of crazy doing all the last minute stuff right now. So it pulled us away from home for 3 days. And for us to drive to Phoenix is a minimum of 6 to 7 hours each way. It was basically a 3-hour cocktail reception. Would I attend if I lived close or within a couple of hours? Absolutely. I will take any option to attend and meet with eBay people and eBay friends and reseller friends at any time. However, would I have driven 7 hours each way and taken a few days off from work to do it? No.
But I would say, like, if you're just a regular reseller and, for one thing, we could have flown. We've done that before. But if you, like, made it a whole trip where it was like a thrifting trip and stuff like that, then sure. But just driving, 6-7 hours each way for a 3-hour thing, not necessarily. But
yeah, we host our own meetup as it is locally, but we were sponsors. Boss Reseller Remix was a sponsor of eBay Open. If you watched eBay Open online and you went into the expo hall, you were able to come into a room with all of the sponsors, and there were different rooms for each sponsor, I should say. And we had one of them, and Katie and Teresa and I took turns hosting and in there talking to people and answering questions, basically talking to ourselves in the camera a lot of the time. But it was nice to get to interact with people and to share what the Boss Reseller Remix is with people that may not have heard of it, because obviously there are millions and millions and millions of sellers, and we are just 3 small sellers putting on a reseller event. And obviously not everyone has heard of this event or sort of any reseller event.
We also have more opportunities to meet and interact with eBay employees. So for other sellers who maybe don't have as many opportunities, like, I don't know, I think it just depends on for us, it was just timing and everything like that. It was really like a major pain to travel. Yeah. And I think so if
you're in Tempe, Phoenix, did you go the other night? Because I'm not sure if I know your real name from your screen name. Sorry. You should have gone. I mean, because it was definitely worth it for being close. If they had, whenever they held eBay Open live in person in Las Vegas, even though it was about a $500 ticket, I went every year and I would never miss that.
Yeah. And also they had, one of the things they had there that we didn't have a chance to take advantage of, they had a couple of guys there that do what's it called? Liza told us to do it. They look at your store and they give you.
Oh, it wasn't the store review, but it was growth advisor.
Growth advisor.
Yeah, we didn't get a chance. We were too busy talking to people, and now I have an email, so I think I'll follow up and do that. But they give you an in-depth report looking at your store, and it's not just, hey, you need to change your titles or offer free shipping and free returns. It's not all that crap, right?
Yeah.
Basically, it's going to tell you what percentage of your listings are stale, and why, and how it's being viewed.
Better
strategies for the algorithm and for the listings. It's actually really informative if you get a chance to do it. I've done it before at past eBay Opens, and I always found it really informative. So I definitely want a chance to do that. You did have an option to do that during eBay Open Live as well, the virtual version. Oh, okay. There was a room that had growth advisors that I think you could schedule an appointment with, or you could at least spend some time with. Definitely, if you have not watched eBay Open, it is listed. All of the sessions are up live. Just go to eBay's YouTube channel. And the sessions, they're there live. They were all pre-recorded. They had some live portions, but for the most part, it's pre-recorded. It has to be when you're putting on a production like that. And some of them are fantastic. The final keynote speech, as Tommy is saying, honestly, I did not get to catch a lot of eBay Open because we were hosting that networking room. But I do intend to go back and watch it. Probably after this, I'm going to be watching it while I'm working. And what I did see was that final keynote, because Lori Wong had actually told us to make sure that we watched it, which I wanted to anyway because it was our friends. But it was fantastic. They did a seller takeover. So they let Ken Gattano, the Hustle Bee, and Lori Wong, Reflections of Trinity, and the other girl's name is escaping me right now. I'm so sorry. I don't know her, so it didn't stick in my head. But they let 3 sellers take over the main stage and basically have a conversation, which was very, I know they discussed topics beforehand, right? But they're all very natural speakers, and it was really, really well done.
Yeah.
And super interesting and informative. Anna Packer, thank you, Tommy. I know I could have looked at my notes. I did it didn't stick with me. I haven't met her yet. I would like to meet her though.
But yeah, it was funny because she said we had talked to Lori because they pre-recorded that part of it, and we had talked to Lori a few weeks back when she was at eBay headquarters, and she was like, "Hey, I want to mention you guys during my talk or whatever, but I need you to sign releases." And we're like, "Okay, that seems kind of weird. Like you can't even say someone's name without having them sign a release, whatever." And so we had to sign this release and send it back to her, and then she had messaged me and said, whatever you do, don't miss the last session. You're not going to want to miss out. But she wouldn't say why. And then we were like on the screen. So I think we were actually, I didn't read the fine print, guys. I think it was actually like a photo release.
I'm sure.
We just didn't read it. We were just like, oh, whatever.
Thank you, Jill. Anna Packer, Anna's Aesthetic Miscellany, which I did just go follow her on Instagram the other day after listening to her speak. Anyway, she was super interesting as well. She's someone that comes from a psychology background. She was doing clinical therapy with people, and then decided to leave her own practice, and decided to become a reseller. I'm constantly amazed by all of the different stories that have brought all of us to where we are today.
Those backgrounds.
There's so many diverse backgrounds and people and cultures and capabilities and skill sets that bring you to being a reseller. And some people, this is just all they've ever done. But some people, like our friend, Nanette Zapon, who is a lawyer. We know people that are doctors that have become resellers.
And Sarah is currently a therapist.
Yeah.
She's one of our speakers, posh speakers.
Yep. And I think that so much of this stuff is so interesting. Katy has a master's degree in nonprofit business management. I've worked in nonprofit my whole life and in sales my whole life. I just think everybody's background that brings you to this journey is just super interesting. We all bring so much to the table. I love it.
Listen, guys, speaking of the remix and Ken, so the remix is only 2 weeks away, okay, guys? So in 2 weeks, a lot of you who are coming are already going to be in Vegas in 2 weeks from today. The meet and greet's 2 weeks from tomorrow. We're getting excited. I did say I titled this "A Constant Battle to Find Balance" because I do feel like we really buckled down at the beginning of the month of July, and at least for me, I felt like I found my groove. And then now all these other different things are happening, and it's really, we'll get to it more when we get to goals, but it's really hard to keep things balanced and still focus on my business, which is my favorite part of what I do, is the actual reselling part, but whatever, it is what it is. But I'm still excited. 2 weeks from now, the remix is happening. Ken is going to be leading, he's going to be running the Whatnot charity auction in support of the Blind Center, and so he's brought a bunch of shoes, a bunch of like high value shoes that are going to be auctioned off, but we've also been putting stuff in as well. And one of the things, guys, you guys are going to get a sneak peek. This is going to be the first time this has been shown publicly. So you guys are getting a special treat right now. Seriously, you're going to love it. There's a guy that works for Jesse at Yesterday's Fits. His name is Trevor. He has his own clothing line where he makes hoodies and pants and shorts out of blankets. And I think he started doing it with just blankets he found, and then now he does custom ones because he can get them printed. He can design the blanket, has it printed, and then makes it into a hoodie or pants or whatever. So I had the genius idea. I'm like, why don't we commission him? And he did it for us at cost, because it does cost him. He's got to order the blanket and everything. We commissioned him to make a custom, one-of-a-kind hoodie. Mm-hmm. And when I called Vicky, because I was there, I called Vicky. I'm like, hey, we should do this. And she's like, well, is it going to be like the Reseller Remix logo? And I'm like, we need a wider appeal. We need people to lay down some serious
Nobody wants
bucks.
to necessarily wear the Reseller Remix logo for
I just think it's
bucks.
a smaller. I think it's
I agree.
It's a smaller audience.
I agree.
We want the big bucks, guys. So we were like, we're going big. And so you're going to see it. This is going to be one of the things auctioned off. One of a kind. His company's called Trev's One of One. Never been seen publicly, guys. Check this out. This is an eBay custom blanket hoodie. You've got your old school eBay logo on the front. The back, it's got all the current logo. All right. When you look at the hood, this side, is there somebody in the chat who can tell me what that is on this side of the hood? Somebody in the chat, check it out. Check it out.
You can't tell by that photo, Katie.
I bet somebody's going to know. It's the broken laser pointer, the very first item that was ever sold on eBay. And then this side, it was some like Sesame Street toy that was like the millionth sale, I think. Yeah, see, Jill, I think she got laser pointer before I said that. It's got like the old school categories listed there.
When you used to log into eBay in the 90s and early 2000s, this is what it looked like.
eBay Motors. And then the hood has like this kind of felt lined red and green.
It's velvet, not felt.
Whatever, velvet. Anyway, custom, one of a kind. Only one person will ever own this hoodie. And we're going to be auctioning this for the charity auction. But I told him, I'm like...
I do think it's funny, as Liz said, that we're going to be auctioning off an eBay item on Whatnot. Well, you know what? If eBay Live auctioning was open to us, we would be obviously probably using that. But last year we used Whatnot to auction for the charity, and we're going to do it again this year. So we're really excited about the items that we have. But I have to say, I think this one is probably the coolest thing.
Yeah.
And we're going to try not to bid on it ourselves, unlike like we did for... the Boss Reseller remix thing. It's pretty big. It's like kind of a one size fits
like a large.
One size fits most, Linda. Yeah. I would say
it would fit you, Linda.
It would fit you. It would fit. I would think this would fit up to an extra large male. I don't know that it would fit much bigger than that.
Yeah.
But
I'm really excited about it, and
I'm thinking it's going to go for at least $500.
I think it's going to go for over 1,000. And I told him like, oh, there's going to be a bunch of eBay employees there. I said, don't worry, you won't get sued. Hopefully. Because it's like totally copyright infringement. But I mean, it's for a charity, okay?
They won't give us any crap
Nobody's
there.
making any money off of it. Anyway.
Yeah, you may have to take out a bank loan, Tommy. You better come ready to roll, all right? You better come ready to roll in Vegas. Anyway, what we're going to do for our auction is the same as we did last year. For those of you that attended or didn't attend, you're going to be able to watch the auction from home. Or in person there. You can bid in person and bid in home. It's a live Whatnot auction. We're going to be sharing the link to the auction itself throughout the next couple of weeks. It should be live by the end of this week so that we're able to share it. You can view the items that are going to be auctioned off. And every penny is going to the Blind Center of Nevada. Everyone that has, every item has been donated or purchased with the express intent of having every penny go to the charity. Whatnot is waiving their fees for the charity itself. So
I think the only thing that they can't waive is taxes.
Yeah,
that's the only thing. Anyway, all right, let's get into the show. Let's go ahead and get started here. Let me share the screen. Now, this last week, man, this is the thing about selling online, working for yourself. There's like zero predictability. You never know what your week's going to be like. And I feel like I've been doing all right the last like month and a half, couple months. Like I've been kind of steadily, I feel like growing and growing. And then we go on our trip, and I don't know if that had anything to do with it, but literally, probably not, because literally Sunday, Monday, 0 sales on eBay. 0 sales, 2 days in a row. And then I had Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, $40 or less each day on eBay. It was horrible. It was so bad.
You had some high dollar sales, though. You still did over 2,000 for the week, even though you only had 11 eBay orders for the week. What the hell?
Right. But here's the thing, guys. Here's the thing. My eBay sales for this weekend, since I shipped on Friday, I have over $800. So it's like this weekend I'm having over $1,000 weekend, and it's not over yet. But man, the beginning of the first half to the end of the week, terrible. Terrible. It sucks. So it's just a roller coaster. But yeah, 11 eBay orders, 6 Etsy, 2 Poshmark, 8 between Grail Bakari and Depop, for a total of 27 outgoing orders. Didn't quite hit 1,000 for eBay. 935.22, 537.25 for Etsy, 113 for Poshmark, and 491 for Grail Bakari and Depop combined. So just barely eked out over 2,000, 2,076.47. Shipping $97.89. That's a little low, but you got to remember that this is actually like stuff that's on here I haven't even shipped out yet. So that's really from the week before.
Oh, see, I always do actual shipping.
Well, I haven't shipped it yet.
From the items, but I know what it's
you just made. Okay, cost. Gotcha. Anyway, cost of goods $84. So total net sales $1,649.23. Gross average sale price really good. I had some good high dollar items. $76.91. My net was $61.08. Yeah, I think that's the highest net I've had for a week ever, maybe. Anyway, so yeah, the end of the week has really saved me. I had a really good high dollar sale today on Etsy, so that's not included in here. I've had a pretty good day on eBay so far today. So roller coaster.
I've
but-
sold a whole lot of nothing today, really.
Yeah,
Well,
but
no.
you had a much better week than me, so we're gonna let you talk about that. Here you go.
This is almost exactly what my week was last week. I think it's up by 100 and change for the week. But 42 orders on eBay, 8 on Etsy, 9 on Poshmark, 6 on Mercari. I got to tell you, since I've become more consistent on Mercari, I'm liking the platform more and more. I think I'm going to end up doing close to $10,000 on Mercari this year, which is for a third or fourth rate platform. I'm perfectly happy doing an extra $10,000 just by cross posting, right? So, and again, most of you know that we use List Perfectly to cross post. We talk about it all the time. It would behoove you to be using some type of cross posting software.
Yeah.
Everybody's going to find the one that works for them. I happen to prefer List Perfectly. The code is listed below, but you need to be on multiple platforms, period. I would not have survived the last 18 months of really, really difficult sales if I were not on multiple platforms. So 65 total orders. I did 22.52 and change on eBay, 559 on Etsy, 247 on Poshmark. That was a low week for me. 282 on Mercari, no private sales, for a total of 33.41 and change for the week. That's pretty good. As you guys hear me talk about this, I do really like to be between 3,500 and obviously 5,000. 3,500 and up is actually the goal for me for a week. And that actually is real close to the goal. So I'm not unhappy about that at all. $360 in shipping. And then you see the breakdown of all the different fees. My cost of goods, $158 on 3,300 and change for sales. Gotta say, it's all about the buy, people. You gotta spend a little bit. You can do really well, and you can have a lot of high volume sales, and you can have a really great sales week or a sales month. But if you are, spending too much on your inventory, then who cares?
Yeah.
So cost of goods is relatively low, $158, which makes my total net just over $2,400 for the week. My gross average sale price is right where I want it to be. It's usually between 50 and 60. It's at over 50. It's at $51 and change. And then my net average sale price is $37.
Very nice, very nice.
So it was a good week.
Vintage says, happy Q4.
Hello,
Today is the
ladies.
beginning of Q4, which, by the way, go ahead and so you don't forget, order your shipping supplies, your free shipping supplies. In the past, I have made the mistake because I don't need that more right away of forgetting to order them and then missing out on like $50. I never forgot when I had the $150, but now that I'm down to the 50, I have forgotten before. This time I was like, oh no, did I miss it? And I remembered I did order early on. So go ahead and just get your order in now. They've got some new supplies. They've got some weird stuff, but yeah, it's been an interesting week as far as sales go. And you know what? The whole cross-posting thing, it's like, okay, there are certain influencers who are very passionate about telling people not to cross-post.
They refine things daily, badly.
Well, whatever. Ultimately, one of the things that we talk about, we try to be very transparent, and we don't think that there's any one way to do things correctly. And we also think that success is measured differently by different people. What you consider a successful business, what your goals are going to be different. And so everybody needs to decide for themselves. I do know, for me, I have more listings on eBay than I've ever had before, and they are better listings, better items than I've ever had before, but markets change. And so, like Vicky said, I couldn't survive on just my eBay stuff, and I couldn't, it really doesn't, I do all of my own cross-posting, so I don't even pay somebody else to do it, and it really barely takes me any extra time, and because of that, I mean, if I didn't have anything else, I would have only made $900 for this week.
I'm going to say the only thing that I happen to agree with is that you really should master one platform before you add others.
Yes.
Don't try to spread yourself too thin. I think a lot of us with cross-posting software wanted to try out everything right away, and that's not always going to behoove you as well. There are some platforms that are not worth listing on, depending on what you sell. I honed mine down to 4, and I definitely am happy with those 4 platforms. I may add a 5th. I may not. I'm actually probably going to be just doing more live selling on a specific platform. So I happen to really believe you do need to know your platforms well and know your products well before you learn to cross-post. I do believe that portion.
But
the
like,
rest,
as you know, I'm a bit of a perfectionist. I like things to be just so. And so I really do very high quality listings. And then maybe my last 30 minutes of the day is I just go cross post it everything else. It really doesn't take much extra time for me.
Right.
And so, yeah, so if that's something that you want to do, but I do think that's a very, very good point because, I mean, there's platforms people could waste so much time listing stuff on and it's not going to get them anywhere. So,
Yeah, there are so many platforms that are out right now, right? You know, there's Vestair, there's there's Grailed, there's Kittison, there's all these smaller platforms, and the reality is that unless you are really niched into what they're selling, it's generally not going to be worth listing on every platform, right?
no.
So, like Depop is a great platform for vintage sellers, but it's not a great platform for higher dollar amount vintage sellers. And I don't do well on Depop. But I sell what people want. I'm just not selling it for pennies like they are on Depop. So it's not a good platform for me.
It's not bringing in tons of money for me, but it's for how little time it takes me, the added value as far as the sales go, totally worth it. Totally worth it. Okay, so let's go ahead. Oh, and one other thing I wanted to say. Yeah, the whole thing about the whole argument makes zero sense.
It just depends on who you are. Okay, I'm not going to say that some of the things taught do not have merit, because they do. Schedule and discipline, and a lot of those things absolutely come into play to make yourself a successful business person. I very much take umbrage with the points that are very often said that the only way is that way.
Yes.
And I would say that if it were anyone saying that, I would say
Yes.
that if it were us saying that, you should not be listening to any one person telling you how to run your business is the only way to run your business. That's crap.
Well, and he is selling through more than one platform, so that's the thing that doesn't make any sense about it. So it is what it is, and I would argue on the quality of goods being sold.
He's doesn't have his own account on eBay. Wink, wink.
So whatever. It's. I think
Anyway.
my issue more comes down to making blanket statements when you are influencing a very large number of people who are going to listen to what you say, and where there's good stuff, but the stuff that's misleading, I think, is unfortunate. And then
It's irresponsible.
making those statements on a platform like Instagram and not allowing comments. The conversation isn't even allowed to be had about it, so people can't weigh in with differing opinions. We don't like that because we never say there's only one way to do this. And anyway,
You have to find the way that works for you. I just think it's irresponsible when
100%.
to tell people that one way is the only way.
100%. Okay, let's go ahead and get to our sales highlights for the week. I think you picked out 12. I only put 10 in here, so you're gonna have a couple extras at the end. But go ahead and tell us about your puzzle here.
Yep. I agree with what the lady said. Vax says vintage. Being consistent, learning constantly, and measuring often. Absolutely. Those are all excellent ideas and traits to learn. And being consistent is probably the biggest key of anything in this business.
Now that's a blanket statement I can get on board with.
Yeah. Consistency is important.
100%. All right.
Okay, so I just wanted to show this, not because it's anything fantastic necessarily, but these are really cheap puzzles that I picked up at the bins that I paid 25 cents for. And I didn't have it listed very long, but there are these specific Disneyland ones that look like books. If you look at this, it looks like a book. It looks like it would go on the bookshelf, that are highly collectible. Some of them more so than others, but this one I had a buyer, no word of a lie, this buyer must have been 25 messages in the Netherlands. Very nice, but 25 messages over a flippin' puzzle. Good grief. Anyway, and then was super nervous because I used eBay's international shipping for this, and it went to their center in Chicago and Illinois. So they were like, why does it say it's been delivered? I was like, oh, Jesus, it's been 2 days. It has not been delivered to the Netherlands in 2 days. Calm your tits. I didn't say that, but I wanted to say that. Anyway, I paid like 25 cents for it. So it sold for $67. And the funny thing is I probably would have taken less. I did have make offer on it, and they just didn't make an offer, even though they asked 900 questions.
Yeah.
So keep an eye out for the bookshelf looking Disney puzzles is all I'm going to say.
Yep. All right. My first is not a huge sale, but I always pick up anything that's like sorority or fraternity related, anything vintage, and it usually all sells pretty well. And this sold within a week of having it listed. This is from the 80s. One of the things I wanted to point out though, so this is a sorority, and when I got it at the bins, it had full on shoulder pads in it. And I'm like, do people really wear t shirts with shoulder pads? Because it was like shoulder pads. So luckily, I was able to take them out, and it with it not even looking like they were ever in there in the first place.
I disagree. It's got a little puff going on in there.
That's the shoulder of the
Mannequin.
thing. Yeah.
All right.
Anyway, and sold it for $48.99. It sold in under a week, and I paid probably less than $1 for it. And a lot of people, I bet, looking at a lot of the t-shirt bros wouldn't have picked this up.
Your bros would have ignored that,
especially with it having shoulder pads in it, because it wouldn't even occur to them to take them out. So, anyway, that's it.
Tommy said I had a pen pal. He's not wrong. I did have a pen pal. Anyway, so this Nanette Lepore dress, Nanette Lepore is an expensive brand if you buy it retail. The reality is that as far as resale, it's not necessarily worth picking up ever. I did grab this at from a large bulk order that I was purchasing well over a year ago. I paid $3 for this dress. It is a beautiful dress. Nanette Lepore is beautiful clothing, but for the most part, it does not retain its value for resale. It's like a lot of those higher, expensive department store type brands. But this probably retailed for $300-400 as the dress originally. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful silk dress. The fact that it actually sold for $90 is shocking to me. But it did. It sold for the price you see there, $90. I paid $3 for it, although I sat on it for a very long time. So those people that preach sell-through rate, sell-through rate, sell-through rate only, it's not the only thing. But this would not qualify because the sell-through rate is terrible on Nanette Lepore, and it took me well over a year to sell it. So, you've got to weigh your options. You got to weigh your battles, I guess. Pick your battles. Vintage and long tail items. I don't mind sitting on stuff longer.
Yeah, I hear you. All right, next up for me is this really cool sweatshirt. It's just kind of interesting.
It looks like the Peachy folders.
Kind of. Prestige, which you'd never even seen before.
I didn't. Teresa, and you told me about them.
Prestige Sporting Club sweatshirt. It's like a workout, it's from the 80s, but this looks more like, I don't know, 50s.
Yeah, it looks like a 50s graphic.
So it's kind of cool, and it's like a Henley sweatshirt. I've had it for a little while. I thought it was just, when I got it, I don't think I paid more than $10 for it, but I just thought it was a really cool, interesting design, and it finally sold for me for $69.99.
It's really cute.
Yeah, it's an interesting piece. I feel like if I saw somebody wearing this, I'd be like, oh, that's really cool.
Okay, so this is one of those I want to talk about. I picked this up at the bins. I got this at the bins I think I got this one in California just a couple of months ago. It wasn't listed very long. It was only listed for a couple of days. Look at the damage on this. It had a full-on hole in it. It wasn't just a split on the seam. It had a full-on hole. And the hole, Crystal was able to repair, but as you can see, you can obviously tell there was a repair there. This was not an easy one. It wasn't on a seam. However, this was a very, very well-made, beautiful silk blouse that I could tell was very high quality. It originally had a tag in it. There was no tag. I was probably 90% certain that this was a real Hermes or Chanel piece. The question is, because that type of pattern is so popular, there was no way for me to find anything on that.
Right.
And so that's what I put in the title. If you scroll down into the in the description, you'll see where I put that. So high-end luxury silk, the tag is missing. My opinion is that this was high-end designer, possibly Gucci, Chanel, or Hermes, but with lack of tags, and I cannot confirm. It very much reminded me of Hermes, but Hermes usually has Hermes in the pattern somewhere. Yeah. And same thing with Chanel, it usually has the C's in the pattern. So it really could have been any one of those. However, my buyer knew what I put there, and it sold within a week or two. If it had been tagged that, obviously it would have sold for hundreds, not just 100.
Yeah.
But I paid probably 75 cents for it, and then I paid $5 to have it repaired. And so, I have about $6 into the item, and it sold for $97. It was not listed very long.
Very nice. All right, next up for me, guys. So I was really excited about this sale because I found this on a day at the bins when I found this on when I was doing my 5-day bins challenge while Vicky was gone, and I really felt like overall it was a mediocre day. But I thought this jacket was cool. I grabbed it. Anything surfing, skating, anything like that, I'm gonna grab. And so I grabbed it, and then when I looked more closely at it, I was like, okay, so this is like dead stock. And it's Dickies, and it's really nice quality quilted Dickies like mechanic jacket. And then I looked at the tag and everything. I'm like, oh, this is 90s. Okay, cool. And so when I actually got it home, I did my research and looked it up and found that this was a surf shop in Encinitas, obviously. But it had been there for decades, but it had closed down in like the mid 2000s, and so it was popular, but it no longer exists anymore. And so that's kind of like how I will price stuff. I always see people like posting, I can't find this thing anywhere. And it's like they're trying to look for comps. And it's like there's a lot of ways that you can comp something. And for me, I'm going to think about, okay, is it available anywhere else? Is there going to be nostalgia attached to this? What might give it value? And so I priced it high, and somebody offered me 165. I mean, you were in Colorado how long ago? Like a month ago?
Like 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago? Okay, so I didn't have it listed very long, guys. I got offered 165, and I was like, sold, 165. I mean, it weighed a couple of pounds, so it cost me a few dollars. But I was really excited because that was a really high quality piece.
That's a really nice piece.
Yeah.
You bought at the bin. So Susan asked, can you use those words in description? Yes. Here's the thing. You can't use them as if you are trying to say that it is definitively that, and you can't use it in the title. If I put it in the title, that would definitely be keyword spamming. But because I used it in the description and I was describing it in the manner that I was, that's absolutely allowed. Same as if you sell something that someone has worn in like a TV show, the same exact thing. Like there's this particular coat from the 90s that Phoebe Buffay wore with like faux from Friends with like embroidery on it. It's like faux fur. It looks a lot like a Penny Lane style coat, but it's from the 90s. People will put that in the description. Some people put it in the title. I think that's a little risky to put it in the title on eBay, but things like that. You'll be like, oh, as shown on, and then you can put one of the photos as a grab from the, from Google or whatever, with the person wearing it or showing it. Someone wore this on Charmed, or this is like this jacket Buffy wore. All of those things you can put in descriptions because those things will be picked up by people using search.
Yeah.
But it's not a search manipulation as putting it in the title or putting it in a category that has those words in it.
Of course, you're never safe from anything, as I discovered recently when I had 2 different vintage 80s Porsche t-shirts get taken down, not because it was Vero, because usually when it's Vero, it tells you who you can contact, like who submitted the claim. They just said that they determined that they were potentially counterfeit, and they took them down. And it's like, I don't get anything knocked against my account, but I can't list them anymore. And I'm like, why? Because I don't understand, like, why did they get reviewed? And why did this Porsche t-shirt that clearly says 1981 on it it's frustrating.
Dumb.
It's so frustrating. But
so I just want to address Cindy's question there. First of all, welcome to our Facebook group as well. I don't know if you found us through eBay Open or not, but welcome. We host an in-person reseller group, but it is here in Las Vegas. I believe there is one in the SoCal area, but I'm not sure which that one might be. What I would suggest is going to ebay.com/events, I believe it is, or it's /events. And you're able to look for meetups in your area. And if there is a specific meetup that it meets regularly, they are posted on that portion of the website, so you can find them.
Yeah. Oh, there's a eBay meetup group in Long Beach, Michelle says.
Thank you. Michelle, if you're able to put a link in the description in our chat for that. I'm not sure if you're able to. You might need to be a mod to do that.
Yeah.
Katie, if you want to make her a mod so she can do that. She's in our chat enough. That's fine.
I don't trust Michelle.
Rude. Oh, that doesn't have an option.
Oh, because I think you can't do it. It's my channel. Sorry. We're on your channel technically right now.
Ooh, she's rude.
Sorry.
She's rude.
It's just the way that it is, man. All right, where did the screen go? Great, I lost our screen. Oh no,
What are you trying to do?
I'm trying to find the flipping control for our show. There it is. Okay. Sorry. Yeah, I can't add you. Next up for you.
Okay, so this was just I showed this in a haul probably like a couple months ago. I haven't had it for that long, but this is just IKEA fabric, and it was really bright and pretty, and I loved the colors. In fact, I thought about using it in our own home. It's just a little too yellow, but it was unused fabric, but it was from the bins, right? So there's some soil marks on it, and I noted that, but it was a pretty good size. It was probably about 4.5 yards. Just really pretty fabric. Who knew that IKEA fabric was worth that much, right?
Go. I like how it's got the date on it.
It has the date, it has who the artist is, all of that
Nice.
stuff. Go back to, I paid probably $4 or $5 for it based on the weight. It's heavy. It's a very thick fabric. It's like upholstery fabric. You could definitely use it for pillows or upholstery. It sold for $97, and I had it listed for a couple of months. I had a few offers, not too many, but I did have a few offers in the $50-$60 range, and I almost took them because I didn't have much into it, but I decided to wait it out, and I'm glad I did. It sold at the price you see there, $97 and change, and I was able to fit that into a padded flat rate mailer, and there we go.
There you go. All right, next up, another nice sale I had that saved my butt this week. These are the sales that helped me stay in business, apparently. This is just a really cool, the brand is Reason, anorak windbreaker jacket, like pullover jacket. It's got a really super awesome design with this. I don't know exactly what's going on, but it's got like this wolf and it's just this kind of comic strip kind of thing. So this is a current brand. Their website, they still have jackets similar to this, but this particular jacket, they do not have this design any longer. And another thing I noticed when I was researching it before I listed it is that this one is sized at 5XL, and none of their jackets go. Their biggest size is 3XL. So they don't even offer a 5XL on their website. I don't know if maybe they have like an actual store or what, or why this particular one is a 5XL, but it's not one that's available. This
That's a
pattern
big
isn't
boy.
available.
That's a big boy size.
Yeah, so that's why I priced it up. It's just a really cool jacket. And I also had seen, I think there were a couple of comps I had found where they had sold for like 150. So I was very grateful to get this sale in though. So made me happy. But they've got some cool. They actually have like a crazy sale going on their website of similar.
It's a really cool pop art type.
Yep.
Type of print. It's not my style, but I appreciate the bright colors and everything.
So if anyone likes the general style, not this print necessarily, their website, they've got like some crazy sales going on. You can get one super cheap. But, all right, go ahead. Ooh, you sold another one of these.
Yeah, I talk about these. I've talked about them the last few weeks. As a matter of fact, this is the last of them. I have now sold all of them in the last 2 to 3 months. I probably had 6 or 7 of these vintage sweaters. I do pick them up every time I see them. They have sold anywhere from $65 to $130, depending on the size and the style. This one actually has no tags, so there was no tag on it whatsoever. But you know, once you've sold a few of these, you understand how they feel and what they look like and what that Irish wool feels like.
Yeah.
It's very different than most types of wool. And it sold for the price you see there, $97 and change. And this was even a smaller one. This was a medium.
See, there's some people who are hesitant to list something if it doesn't have a tag.
Yeah, that's
Hesitant.
not me.
I know, not me either. I'm just saying, like, don't be scared of missing tags or anything like that. Anyway, anything else?
No. Let's just keep those in mind. When you find them, grab them.
All right, next up. So a few weeks back, month back or so, I was going on and on about how great Levi's 501 jeans were selling for me, and it was so awesome, and I was finding them at the bins and blah, blah, blah. And then when Ryan and Allie were here, I literally sold 3 pairs of Levi's 501 jeans in 2 days between eBay and Etsy. And I was super excited about it. And of those 3 pairs, 2 of them got returned. So that was awesome. So that's where stuff starts to get expensive for you when you have free shipping on eBay, because I had sold this pair on eBay. I took an offer for $65, spent $8.50 to ship it. They wanted to return it. So I spent, who knows, probably more than that to get it back. But then I did sell it on Etsy for $89.99. So these jeans that cost me a couple of bucks originally have, cost me a good, I might as well have paid $30 for them. But hopefully they stay gone this time, because I did sell them for $90. So still a good deal. But it does make me a little more hesitant about picking up jeans, I gotta say. I don't know. I guess I felt like 501s, people who buy 501s, like they know what fits them. But I mean, does
You
anybody?
would think. You would think.
Right? I don't know.
So Michelle answered the question that Tommy asked, what is Iran? Iran, I don't even know if I'm pronouncing it correctly, but it's a type of traditional knitwear, generally made in Ireland. It denotes Irish knit products, scarves and sweaters and jackets and things. It's basically a cable stitch, like a cable knit sweater, but it's a cable stitch, and they usually use a diamond pattern. That's basically what it means.
Yeah. All right.
And it's also a brand. There's a couple of brands of Iran crafts that come out of Ireland too.
Your turn. Hey, I remember when you got this.
I got this when Ryan and Allie were here when we went to the bins for the first time. I beat out all the t-shirt bros. I even beat out the bro of all t-shirt bros, Ryan Roots, because he didn't find this. Yeah, but I did.
But he's not skilled in the ways of the bins quite yet.
True. But he was digging in. He was elbows deep 3 days in a row, man. He loved it.
Inappropriate.
So I did grab this from the bins. Unfortunately, this is not a huge banga, as they say. But it was still a really good one. I've only had it listed for a couple of weeks. As you can see, it had holes in the pits that Katie probably would have had fixed. I didn't care enough to have them fixed. I paid about $1 at the bins. It had a nice all over even fade, and it sold fairly quickly for $105. So
I wouldn't have had these holes fixed because they're not
on the seam, right?
Really, no. You would be able to see. It's better to just leave it.
Yeah. So. Yeah, I mean, it's not, a $400 wrap tee type shirt, but I'll take $100 from $1 in like 2 weeks.
It probably would have sold for $300 during the pandemic.
It probably would have.
Seriously, I mean that's the way it was. All right, next up, I've got this really weird Sequoia Pepsi bowl from 1989. College of the Sequoias, never heard of them. Versus Diablo Valley College, never heard of them. But apparently they have their own Pepsi bowl, and this is a sweatshirt to prove it.
So they've got this College of the Sequoias. So the Sequoias are in California. I'm assuming that's somewhere in California.
Probably, yeah.
Sequoia Pepsi bowl. It says that Paul Bunyan with the Sequoia, it looks like.
I guess so.
I don't know what's happening.
I don't know. But I've had this for a little while, but I was very happy to sell it for $89.99. So it was a nice little sale. And I sold it the day we were leaving for Phoenix. This sale came through, and I was like, oh, I'm going to ship that out real quick so they don't have to wait. And it was one of those magical moments where I have like multiple bins to hold. I have like 10 bins that hold sweatshirts. And the first one I opened, it was like right on top. And I was like, yes.
Love it when that happens.
Yeah, because I'm lazy and I don't have like a whole inventory system.
Well, neither do I for 5,000 items.
I mean, we should. We always say
it's too late. It's too late to start now.
Yeah,
too late.
So whatever. Anyway, $89.99. So I think I paid.
Yeah, if you have fewer than 1,000 items in your store, you better start with a good inventory system.
Don't be like us.
Don't wait until your store is so big that it would take you 2 months to create an inventory system. I'll never do it again.
Don't ask us for advice on inventory systems or
ask Teresa
or taxes.
Teresa would be good for both of those things, actually.
Yeah. All right. Next up for you.
Okay. So this was a bins purchase. I think I got this last year at the bins at some point, or maybe earlier this year. I've had it for quite a bit. It was a really nice Ralph Lauren trench coat. However, that's kind of a basic, boring style. It's very nicely made.
Nice, cool.
But it did take a while to sell. So I've had it for quite a bit. It sold for the price you see there. I probably paid $7 or $8 for it. It was not light. It probably weighs close to 4 pounds. So between $7 and $8 I paid for it. And it sold for $135.
Now the Ralph Lauren, is that the top one? Or
no.
Black label is the top one?
A black label or purple label, and this is just the blue label. So it's, okay. I'm sure it was probably still a $500 coat originally. And honestly, this one had no signs of wear. It just didn't have a tag.
Yeah.
Oh, trenches are in this fall, Susan says. All right. Okay.
All right. Next up, I rub it in Vicky's face that I sold another Jesus tee. This one is UFC.
I can't give them away.
Why can't you give them away to me?
I don't know.
United for Christ, UFC, just a fun, this is like vintage Y2K, and, Grailed, I think Tommy was just saying that how bad Grailed was right now. I have been getting a little more activity lately. I mean, part of that's probably because I'm listing more on there again, but I am getting more activity lately, so I am grateful for that. It'd be nice if it was even more.
573 transactions that you've had there. That's not too bad.
Yeah, but that was a lot of that was early on. It's like I feel like this year it's been pretty weak sauce overall over in Grailed, but still, I'll take any sale I can get. And it takes me like 2 seconds to add a listing to Grailed, so it's not a big deal. All right.
It is winter time, guys. Here's the thing. It is winter. It is going to be starting. People are going to start buying sweaters and jackets and boots and sweatshirts and all that stuff. It is getting cooler and cooler. So this was a find from the bins as well. This was a find that I believe one of the t-shirt people threw back, thinking it wasn't a big deal, but I knew it was Burton as soon as I opened it up, and I grabbed it. So probably paid $4 or $5 for it. And it sold. For some reason, I have forgotten to put a sale up in my store this week. So most of my stuff has not been on sale since Tuesday morning.
Oh, geez.
And I did not restart a sale. I've actually been getting a lot of full price.
Out?
Yeah, I've been getting a lot of full price sales this week, and just sending out some offers. So I'm gonna leave it. I'll start a sale again in another couple of days. But right now, nothing's on sale. So it sold for full price, $189.95.
Nice.
Plus the shipping. And yeah, I mean,
right.
I figured I'd sell it for around 125.
Nice. Very nice. All right. Next up for me, this is noteworthy. Partially, well, first of all, I think it's a really cool sweatshirt. It's the Connecticut State Police Forensic Science Laboratory. I listen to a lot of true crime podcasts and stuff, so I just thought this was cool to find. It was very dirty and stained when I got it. I washed it. I bleached it. I washed it again. And you can kind of see in this picture, there actually was a hole. This was separated right here. So for anyone who was hanging out with us during eBay Open in our virtual booth, you got to actually watch me sew this closed myself live on screen. It was very exciting, very riveting content. But it's one of those things where I was like, I'll sew it when I sell it. And then I sold it. I was like, dang it, I gotta sew it. So, but it sold really fast. I only had it up for like less than a week, so it was really light. I paid like $1 for it. Sold it for 46. All right,
that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Okay, so I had one very similar. Look at that, FBI.
Look at that.
FBI pullover hoodie. I'm not exactly sure. I know I got it from the bins, but I'm not exactly sure how long I've had it. Not too long, a couple of months anyway. You can see that it definitely has some yellowing in the back. If you scroll down to the up. Right there.
Yeah.
I don't know that I ever bleached it. Scroll down to my description. Hope I described it properly.
Yellowing on the collar.
Okay. Yeah. So anyway, it sold for the price you see there. I do have a sale running in my Etsy store, believe it or not. So it sold for $64. I do not go as aggressive with my pricing on Etsy, and because I do free shipping on Etsy, so sometimes I'll do 15 or 20% off. So yeah. I mean, that was I probably paid $1 or $2 for it. $64. This is like a Katy sale.
There you go. Nice.
I don't often get to pick up things like this because now that we source together most of the time, she gets the men's stuff for the most part.
Yeah, but at the same time, because you go for the women's stuff, you have a lot more opportunity to find those really high dollar pieces. Mm-hmm. So
I do.
All right. Home Improvement Big Tool T-shirt. I paid like $10 for this.
Is that about the TV show Home Improvement? Really?
Yes, it is.
Oh, Tim the
I've had this for quite a while though. Paid $10 for it. It actually sold for $60, but I was like, get out of here. So this is my only sale on Depop for the week. So I was like, whatever, get out of here. I'm sick of you. Sick of looking at your face.
These were a bins purchase as well. Picked these up, a few months ago, and probably paid $3 or $4 for them. And, cowboy boots are in, thank you, Taylor Swift and all the Swifties out there for the girls wearing all the cowboy boots lately. And it's becoming a lot more popular, not just somewhere where people wear cowboy boots all the time. People wear them with shorts, they wear them with dresses, they wear them with skirts, and with jeans, of course. And I was pretty happy to sell these for $105. They did also pay $12.95 shipping. So yeah, they weren't listed very long, just a few months.
Mm-hmm. All right, I got this Poshmark sale. This is a really cool t-shirt. I picked this up at the bins. This was one that was a little discolored. I don't know why sometimes you can look at the pictures and sometimes you can't. Anyway, it had some discoloring, but I washed it. I bleached it. I washed it again, as I'm wont to do. And somebody, I had a message on Poshmark, and at first I was like, oh, here we go again. Because, man, that's the one thing about Poshmark. I thought Mercari was bad with the spam messages. Poshmark.
Oh, I don't get very many
on a whole new level.
I don't get many on
the
Posh.
comments.
I mean, on Macari, I don't get many spam messages on Macari.
Well, I get them more on, like, I never get them on, like, eBay, you know what I mean? Or Etsy, hardly ever. So, for me, I was like, oh, Macari has a lot. Poshmark, it's, like, constant, every day. I really love this. My dad's going to pay for
my
you.
daughter.
It's always my dad's going to pay you
text.
from his Poshmark, but it's going to pay for on Poshmark, but here's his phone number. Anyway, so I had this message, and they basically said their house burned down on the Lahaina, and they used to work on a whale watching boat, and so they really wanted the shirt, and it was a good offer. It was like, I think it was priced at $70, and they offered $63. So I was happy to sell it to them. So it was kind of sad, but I was glad to give them something that reminded them of everything before it all burned down. But anyway, all right, that's all. But I always pick up anything whale related.
Or Hawaii related.
I know, but I especially love whales, especially the humpback whales, which is why I love Star
Trek 4. I'm aware.
Star Trek 4, Voyage Home. The humpback whales save humanity, okay? I don't know why you cannot appreciate that.
Because I've never watched it and I never will.
But I'm telling you, they save humanity. Without the humpback whales, we would all have a very sad, sad future with nothing in it. All right. You're so rude. Go ahead.
This is just another Ralph Lauren item that I sold. I did pick this up at the bins. So I don't have too much into it. This is the one that has the applique crest on the pocket, and it actually has like the gold and metal threads on it. It's like heavy, and it has the gold threading is metallic threading. It's metal, I should say. It's not just like, it's not fabric. It's literally like hard metal threads. So that crest is like metallic and has velvet, and it's really nice. And then of course it's got double-breasted with the buttons, but made in the USA, vintage, and it's sold for the price you see there. As you can see, I clearly don't steam my items, and I'm probably never going to. So I list too many to bother with that. Yeah. So $104.
Very nice. Alana,
yes, thank you. Wire. That would be the word I was looking for.
Alana, that's your favorite Star Trek movie because it is the best. So just so you know.
Yeah, it is. It's made out of like like wire, but it's threaded and sewn. So it's
I was at Yesterday's Fits yesterday, and they had a men's jacket that had Ralph Lauren that had metallic. It was weird, like the wire thing. I didn't get it. It was $5. Am I stupid? Was I
yes,
stupid?
you were stupid.
All right, I'll message him and see if they still have it.
Okay, so I'm going to talk about this one here. First of all, my photos are terrible. I took these pictures, you can tell. Here's what I want to talk about here. These, I'm not 100% sure that they are actually real Christian Dior or not. They had some of the indicators that they are. They had some that they're not. They were in garbage condition, you can see. I was not able to find these anywhere else. I had a very long conversation with the woman that purchased them. She actually paid $200 for them. I don't know why it shows $160, but I did tell her very, very specifically, we talked back and forth many times, that I'm not sure. They could be bootleg, they could be repro, they could be entirely fake. They're definitely vintage.
She must have somebody.
And there were a lot less vintage items that were being reproed in the 80s to early 90s. Like these, I believe, are where they're from. So we had a whole conversation about it, and she said, I think I can restore these, and I'm willing to take the chance.
Nice.
So she bought them.
If they were definitely real, how much would they be worth?
If they were definitely real, I probably would have listed them in the neighborhood of $600 or $700.
Yeah.
I just was not able to confirm. And, they were very nice quality and they're made really well. It's just, I don't know. Now, I did tell her if she gets them and she's really disappointed in them, I would be happy to take them back. And I do not accept returns on Etsy. So I do think that insured her a little bit in her risk taking. But she was well versed on what she purchased. And I was taking the chance listing them such as Christian Dior, because generally when you can't guarantee authenticity, I wouldn't suggest doing that unless you know items very well. I do consider myself to know items really well. and I know quality, and I can tell when something's made really well. Usually bootlegs and counterfeits, they're made like shit, and these were not, even though they have a lot of wear. I knew someone needed to restore these. So I'm glad I sold them. I'm glad I picked them up. And we'll see if the sale sticks. I don't know why it says 160 though. I did sell them for 200. I had actually created a price.
She sold them for $200. Okay.
I paid about $5. These were a bins find. So
yeah. All right. So those are our sales highlights. Oh, one of the things I wanted to mention. I wanted to see, is anybody else taking advantage of the share and save program on Etsy? They just rolled it out within this last month. I had gotten an email about it. And you basically have a unique URL you can use to share your listings. And so I went ahead and changed it because on my my A Boutique for Him Instagram, I have it linked to my Etsy store as opposed to my eBay store just because it is all my vintage. And so I went ahead and changed it there. And the jacket, I'll show it next week, but I sold a jacket for $220 on Etsy, and it said that it went through the share and save. And you get half of your fees back. So the fees on Etsy are like $8. That does, or not $8, 8%. That doesn't include the payment processing. So you get 4% back. So I got $10 refunded of my fees because it was through the share and save. So just check it out. When you're in your shop on the left-hand side, it's under marketing. Once you click on the marketing, then you'll see a thing that says share and save. Just check it out.
eBay has something similar. They just have to use your link to buy the specific thing. It's unless you're marketing yourself super strong and heavily, it's just not worth your time to do it for the most part. But just having it in your socials, if you are someone that shares a lot on social media, if you're someone that's on Instagram, where you have your LinkedIn profile, not LinkedIn, where you have your bio links in your profile on Instagram. And if you're going to have your Etsy store out there in that way, use their link, because if someone purchases using that link, specifically, you save half your fees. So I think that's where it's going to make sense. A lot of people use social media. You're not just us, and we sell very few items to our followers. Just so you know, I know a lot of people talk about that. A lot of people want to know, oh my God, you guys do well because you sell to your followers. Listen, our followers are do not buy from us. I can count on one hand how many sales I have a year to anyone that follows us.
It's not a significant amount of our income. I would say neither of us even hit $1,000 a year. I would say maybe in the best of years, maybe we've hit 1,000, because you've sold a couple times like a $200 dress here, or why are you making that face?
I don't even think I've hit a 500 a year.
I think you've probably hit 1,000 a year. You've sold like a couple of high-end dresses and stuff to other people.
Not to my followers, no. Tommy says that's because we're broke. Hey.
Well, and you're also a reseller, so generally, like, you're not buying stuff the price.
No, and I do give a good deal, but I don't. I mean, I'm not giving it away. I will give you definitely a better deal if you contact me and buy from me versus off a platform for sure. But
yeah. Anyway, so as far as our goals are concerned, this last week, I mean, I said last week we were going to be going out of town. The likelihood of actually being able to hit listing goals was going to be pretty slim to none. And as far as I go, I've set my goal at 50 items. I maybe did 35 this week, so I definitely did not hit that goal. We hit our goal as far as our shows go. We had our Sunday show, and then I had a show that was released, or a pre-recorded haul video that was released on Tuesday, and then I had another one that was going to come out on Friday, but I was having some technical difficulties, which were all Taylor Swift's fault. Because one of the thrift stores,
damn Taylor Swift,
the thrift store we were in,
she's ruined football. She's ruined
it got a copyright claim, and that hadn't even gone live yet. It was just like when they were doing the checks. Anyway, and so whatever. So if you do watch the video from yesterday, there is a part where it's like quiet because of that. Anyway, so we met those goals. It's just not my listing goals, which for me, and again, going back to the title of this video, Constant Battle to Find Balance, it is frustrating because when you have a regular job where you work for somebody else, like a 9 to 5 or whatever, you have a choice. You have to go every day at a certain time. You have to be there. You're on the clock. You have to do the work. So the work gets done every single day unless you take a day off. And you just have to do it. Mm-hmm. Because of what our jobs are, if we have other obligations or other things that we have to do, it's like, too bad for us. Like, we just can't. And so for me, it gets a little frustrating because I'm like, I want to work. I want to get stuff done. But, here's 10 other things I got to do, so I can't.
So Jill said it's all about doing consistency. She's been doing 70 a week. And well, mind you, Jill still has a full-time job. If anyone that doesn't know, she has a full-time job
she's
and
such a show-off.
watches her granddaughter, their granddaughter. And, girl, I give you a lot of credit. Anyway, so my goal this week was also 50. I generally want to do 100 to 150 listings a week. However, I no longer have any helpers. So, yeah, I don't have a helper. I've got to reach out to the girl that I spoke with that she's actually supposed to be interviewing with me tomorrow. If she's still interested, I will shoot her a message. I just reminded myself of that. Anyway, I don't have a helper right now. So we were gone and we were on the road. So I did not list until Thursday.
Yeah.
So I've only gotten about 35 listings done since Thursday.
Well, and we have so much stuff to do this week, but I'm like, I need to go sourcing. So I'm probably going to go sourcing. I only went to the bins one time last week. So I'm going to go again tomorrow morning because I have a decent amount of stuff to ship, but not a crazy amount. And so I'm just going to go ahead and go do some sourcing tomorrow. But I've got a lot of stuff I got to do for the remix. There's a lot of busy work that has to be done for the remix. And, we got to tie all that stuff up this week.
We have a bunch of things to do for the remix for sure for the next few weeks.
I'm still going to go for the 50 and maybe I can do it this time because we're not going to be away.
I think we can do 50 this week. I'm going to go for 50 this week.
Yeah. Well,
I don't need to source. I don't need to source because I still have a million things from my Colorado trip. I haven't even opened most of the boxes. I will say, not only did I only list 35, but I did do an entire day of photographs. I've photographed about 300 items. So I photographed all of my hard goods, all of my linens, all of my shoes, bags, anything other than clothing. I got photographed from Colorado and that I also had still sitting from before Colorado, which wasn't too much. And then I also photographed about 5 seasonal items that were all Halloween items that I had purchased in Colorado and got those listed as well. So I did do all the photographs. I do have a bunch of things hanging and ready to be photographed that I will do this week. I have about 50 items, I think, hanging up there. Maybe 75 when you count the ones on my... Yeah, so I'm going to try to photograph another 50 to 100 items this week and get 50 listed.
Yeah, and I need to photograph because I'm going to be out of stuff today. So it's just always...
Tommy, go to the remix final party is a prom theme. Doesn't have to be, it could be vintage prom, could be current prom, could be anything. Go to Amazon if you can't find anything in your thrift stores or out of your inventory. Go to Amazon. There are some pretty funky blazers.
I ordered a black and white one.
Put one on over your over a t-shirt and a pair of jeans, and you're good to go.
Yeah, for sure.
There are some really fun, funky ones, and you can get them pretty cheap and delivered fairly quickly if you're interested. And then you can just resell it or keep it for another party. But I have a vintage prom dress that I'm wearing. I envision a lot of the men showing up in the tuxedo t-shirts.
Yeah.
I'm waiting to see that, and probably a handful of women too.
Well, anyway, so as far and please, guys, whether you do it in the chat or wait till after the show to do it in the comments, tell us what your goals are for the week, for this next week. Like Vicky said, we're each going to go for 50. I actually ended up sourcing. I went yesterday's Fits yesterday to pick up the eBay hoodie and some other stuff for the auction. And I walk in and there's a huge pile of shirts, a huge pile of clothes in the middle of the floor. They were having a giant sale that I didn't know about ahead of time. And everything was like $5. So next thing I know, I'm digging around the floor and I ended up buying a bunch of stuff. So if I go tomorrow morning to the bins, then that's right there is content for 2 videos for us to do haul videos for this week. So we'll make sure I do all of that stuff too. But man, I just feel like there's a never ending list of things that have to be done.
Oh, Jen, good for you with the taxes. We did ours last weekend. So yuck. It was a day. Yuck. It was last Saturday. We do, like we always say, do as we say, not as we do. But definitely get yourself set up for tax time. Have some type of inventory process and things like that.
Will we ever do it? Never!
We keep track of our tax information, but we do not do balances weekly or monthly at all. And we are terrible about it, and we talk about it. But we do one day a year. We put it on the calendar, and we embrace that it's going to be 6 to 8 hours of hell day. And we just do it.
I am very good at compartmentalizing, and I'm very good at being like, okay, there's going to be this half day that's hell once a year. Every other day of the year, I don't even have to think about it because it doesn't matter. because it's not that day. It's going to be on this day. So it is what
And we always file an extension, so our taxes are due October 15th. So always in September, as if we don't have enough going on with right before the remix, but always in September we go, okay, we're putting it on the calendar. Which Saturday are we blocking everything off and not talking to anyone to do our taxes? And we just, we do it. We get it done.
It's funny though, because
and send it off to Mark 2, and Mark 2
takes care of the rest.
We just go, here you go.
And then every year, Vikki starts out going like, I don't even know where to start. And I hear her, she kind of rages a little bit. She rages and cries a little bit. About
throw some things.
About how horrible everything is. And she doesn't even know where to start. And blah, blah, blah. And then like it's not even half a day, maybe 3 hours later, she's like, I'm done.
It didn't take me 3 hours. It took me like 4 or 5 hours this year. I am getting faster at it, because I will say, those of you that don't use Mark II, not your dad's CPA, if you don't use him for taxes, you are missing out, because he has a reseller specific spreadsheet to help you make your taxes easier, that he just basically, you're filling all the stuff in. And before that, when I used a different CPA, I was kind of all over the place. I sent him a whole folder of stuff. Now I just fill out the spreadsheet. Some things don't necessarily fit in the categories altogether, so I just attach my spreadsheet with a couple of questions and some dollar amounts and go, okay, I don't know where to put this, this, and this. Tell me where I put it. Mm-hmm. And send it with my questions, and Mark has my taxes done in 2 to 3 days.
So yeah, another fun find, or Angelisa as we call them. They need to do at least 100 drafts to get ready for remix on top of the normal 10 listings a day. So they're doing the whole, like, they schedule them and just launch those 10, or launch 10 a day while they're gone, which is a great way to do it. Sue is going to try and get 25 up, but she's babysitting her granddaughter 3 days this week. That's going to be fun though. I bet she's cute.
And she's scheduling things. She is cute. I've actually seen pictures of her because Sue and I are Facebook friends. And working on scheduling listings for when she's at the remix.
Yep. And then I know I've never done it this way, but I know a lot of people do like doing it this way. Adrienne says she's using a value total for her daily listing goals. In other words, like every day I want to list $300, or every day I want to list five. You know, I've never done it that way, but I think that's a great way to do it, to look at it too. So she said sometimes that's 3 or 4 items, sometimes it's 10 items, and it works for her.
Jill says I'm her spirit animal. You know what, Jill? I have seen the eye roll from you. Girl, you eye roll like I do, so I've seen it. Mm-hmm. We probably are.
She's never rolled her eyes at me though. Have you, Jill? Have you, Jill?
She's rolling her eyes at you right now.
She would never.
All right, guys. I'm glad. Thank you for chiming in on your goals for the week. I hope you exceed your goals monetarily, professionally, and personally, and go into this week and hit it hard. And we will see you guys. See you soon. We'll see you next Sunday.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.